Hello everyone. I hope our classes you are already liking the classes, and we are talking about the surface chemistry, and in the surface chemistry we have told you the colloidal particles purification last time, and I also discussed the properties of the colloidal particles. But we discussed the properties of the colloidal particles. And some of the properties which we discussed last time, just a recap of that. One of the important property I told about Tyndall effect, which is a very important question for the examinations. The size of the colloidal particle is between 1 to 1000 nanometers, and when a beam of light is passed, they scatter it. And due to that, we see bright colors cone in the colloidal solutions. This makes the path of the colloidal particle visible. And another important thing was the color of the colloidal particle is also due to the scattering of light, which we told you Tyndall effect is very important. And we have discussed the conditions of the Tyndall effect also. The size of the colloidal particle diameter should be almost equal to the wavelength of the light used. And also the refractive indices of the dispersed phase and dispersion medium should differ considerably in order to see those twinkling stars within the colloidal particles. And we have seen the color of the gold salts changes with the change in size of the gold particles, because with the change in size, the wavelength of the scattered light changes and we experience different colors. We also told you the blue color of sky is also due to scattering of light. Further, it's important what we have been telling you that the colloidal particle are in zigzag motion, which is called the Brownian motion. That motion is very important because that is also responsible for the stability of the charged colloidal particles. Today also I am going to tell you something very, very important, which is the reason for the stability of the colloidal particles. Or the colloidal particles will coagulate. If they will coagulate, what will happen? They will form the precipitate. They will form the precipitates. Now, today, our topic is that there is a charge on the colloidal particles. What we are saying, these colloidal particles are charged particles. Colloidal particles carry charge. This is a very important phenomena, and because of that charge, the colloidal particles are stable. So the question is what I'm talking today, that there is a charge. What I'm saying, there is a charge on colloidal particles, on the particles of the colloids. They are carrying a charge. And because all the colloidal particles carry the same charge, therefore they repel each other and become stable. That is one of the reasons for the stability of the colloidal particles. The stability of the colloidal particles is due to the charge which is present on them. And the first question, of course, is where do the charge on colloidal particle comes from? Why the colloidal particles are charged? You are forming colloids of ferric hydroxide, you are forming the colloids of the gold, you are forming the colloids of sulfur or arsenic sulfides or silver chloride, silver bromide, different type of colloids we are forming in our chemistry lab. And we are saying that they have a charge on them. Now the question is, what is the origin of the charge? It's very important to know the origin of charge. Where is the charge coming from on the colloidal particles? See, there are many reasons and many ways the colloidal particles can get a charge. For example, here we have given you very important information. I'm saying kindly pay your attention to the left hand side. The origin of the charge on the Sol particle in most of the cases is due to preferential adsorption of either positive or negative ions on their surface. You are saying the charge on the colloidal particle is balanced by the oppositely charged ions in the Sol. Very important information. That there is a charge on the colloidal particles. There are different reasons why colloidal particles can get charges, and we have listed some of them. First reason I'm saying, due to dissociation of the adsorbed molecular electrolytes. What we are trying to say, first thing I'm saying here, the origin of charge can come from dissociation of adsorbed molecular electrolytes. Molecular electrolytes. Molecular electrolytes. What it means? You are preparing, supposing a sol of As2S3. This is a sol of arsenic sulfide. Arsenic sulfide. This is prepared by passing H2S gas, using H2S gas. And what happens is that these sols, they absorb H2S on their surface. And this undergoes a dissociation. H2S undergoes dissociation to form 2H plus and S2 minus. So it has undergone dissociation. H2S is dissociated on the surface of As2S3. What we are trying to say, that here you have As2S3. Important question for exam. Most of the example I give are the questions which have been asked in the paper. You must note down. You may see same type of question in the paper. That why the arsenic sulfide sols are negatively charged. What happens? This is a particle. And H2S is adsorbed, and this H2S dissociates. What happens? The result is that sulfide ions, these sulfide ions which are carrying negative charge, they remain on the surface, -1, -2 charge. These sulfide ions, they are adsorbed on the surface, and H plus goes in the solution. What will be the result of this? That you have negatively charged sulfide ions on the surface of arsenic sulfide. And therefore, the arsenic sulfide colloidal particles will become, what charge they will become? It will become negatively charged colloid. And you can see, I gave you a table last time in which we said that the arsenic sulfides are negatively charged. Because of the dissociation of H2S, the H ions go into the solution. So what we said here, what we see, read it again. The origin of charge could be due to 1, 2, 3 reasons. Preferential adsorption is the most important one, for which there will be question in the paper. So we are going to discuss that, which we said. The charge on the colloidal particle is balanced by oppositely charged ions in the sol. You see that? What is it? This is a dispersed phase, and solution is a dispersion medium. The medium will have a charge opposite to the charge on the colloidal particle, so that the overall solution becomes neutral always, because this is negatively charged and there will be opposite charge in the dispersion medium. Negatively charged is your arsenic sulfide. As2S3 is negatively charged, and the medium, dispersion medium, your medium is positively charged. Why? Because in the dispersion medium you have H plus ion. So we are negative and H plus ion in the solution. The dispersion medium has a charge opposite to it. This is the first thing which we said in this case, dissociation of the adsorbed molecular electrolytes. When you pass H2S gas and you are preparing arsenic sulfide salts, they will be negatively charged. Further, what we are seeing, the second, you have seen here, second part, what we are saying. Due to dissociation of molecular forming colloidal aggregates. Already you have heard about soaps. and we have discussed them so many times. Detergents, and you have been told the cleansing action of soap. What are soaps? You said soaps are RCOONA plus. You have heard about that C sodium stearate molecule, which we have told you is an example of the soap. C15H31CO minus, C15H31COO minus, and Na plus. What happens when you dissolve soap in water? The result is that this is negatively charged, this is positively charged. What has happened? Dissociation of the molecules forming colloid. This dissociates into water. And what happens that these negatively charged, you have heard about, they form measles. What they form? Measles. They form measles. What are measles? Aggregates. 100 or more than 100 of such particles form aggregates. As I said, aggregates. So these are negatively charged. And the solution will get sodium ion. Sodium ion goes in the solution, which is my dispersion medium. So they become negative. Solution becomes positive. So what we are saying, the charged ions in the sol have a charge opposite to the charge of the colloidal particles. So here in soaps, what charge is there? They are carrying, the colloid particles are carrying a negative charge. They are negatively charged, and dispersion medium sodium ions go in the medium. This medium in the solution, which is our dispersion medium. So opposite charge is there in the dispersion solution, and these soaps particles, which we have told you about, sodium palmate, which we used as the cleansing action is also due to the formation of measles, which we told. 100 molecules will combine and they are negative, and in the solution you have sodium ion, which is positively charged. So this is second way the charge is coming on them. The most important thing which we want to discuss is charge due to preferential adsorption of ions. This is the most important thing we said. This third one is the most important. What we said on the top, question will be there on this preferential adsorption of ions. What is the meaning of preferential adsorption? So the question was given in the board 2 years back. Again, very important. For example, what happens is that you have, here I am saying you have a solution of Ki. But you have Ki solution. And you add in this AgNO3. Very important question, which has been given in board paper like this diagram. What is the reaction? Silver nitrate, aqueous, will react with potassium iodide, aqueous. And you are getting a precipitate of AgI. I hope you know it so well. And what is in the solution? KNO3, aqueous. KNO3, and you are getting a precipitate of silver iodide, AgI. This is my AgI solid. But you have excess of Ki here. What do you have? Excess of what? Ki in the solution. What is Ki? Minus and plus ions. You have large amount of Ki. As you can see. And what you are getting is AgI precipitate. This is AgI. This is my precipitate, solid. Now, what happens when you shake it? The AgI will form colloidal particles. And it is going to absorb either positive or negative ion, either positive or negative ion. Listen to me very carefully. The question was given in the paper. Here I am saying Ki is in excess because this is a large amount. You are adding this drop wise. So what happens is it has been found. What I wrote the term on the top of that, preferential adsorption of either positive or negative ions on the surface. On the surface. In this case, in the AgIe, which ion is common? I minus. So this will prefer adsorption of I ions on its surface. But it will absorb. It will absorb I minus, I minus, I minus, I minus. Because this is common. This ion is common to this. It absorbs I minus. And if it will absorb I minus ion, what will be the charge on this? The charge will be, this AgIe will become negatively charged. Negatively charged. Very important question. It will become negatively charged. This question was given in the paper. But supposing, now what I do? I reverse the thing. How? I take silver nitrate here. Now I take AgNO3 and add Ki. Add Ki. What will happen? Again, precipitate of AgI is formed. Same reaction. Reaction is same because you have Ki, AgNO3. But now, which is in excess in this? You have Ag ions and NO3 ions in the solution. And this is in excess. Which is in excess? Ag ion. Silver ion is in excess. And again, I am saying preferential adsorption will take place. Please listen to me very carefully because this is a question which was given 2 years back. So out of this I have Ag, this has I. And now in the solution you have Ag ions and Na3 ions. Which of the two will be preferably adsorbed out of the two? You can see that AgI will adsorb common ion. Silver is there, so it will take silver ions. So if it adsorbs silver ions, what will be the charge on this now? This is my colloidal particle. It is absorbing Ag plus, Ag plus, Ag plus. So all the particles are absorbing Ag plus ions. This is positive. See, this was negative. See the difference? So this will become positively charged. Positively charged. Now you see the question, very important. And must note down, this same question was given with diagrams in the paper, in the paper 2 years back. That if I add silver nitrate in Ki, that the colloidal particle which we get is negatively charged, and if we add Ki in silver nitrate, the colloidal particle is positively charged. Explain the reason. So preferential adsorption of ion will take place since what these ions are in excess. So here positive ion is adsorbed and here negative ion is absorbed. Therefore, the charges on the colloidal particles can be either positive or negative. But all the colloidal particles get the same charge. And the solution dispersion medium gets a positive charge. So overall, they maintain the balance and neutrality of the charged particles. More examples which have been asked in paper. All these questions which I am talking always to the students. This has been asked, arsenic sulfide. It carries negative charge. Why? H2S adsorbs, this dissociates. H plus goes into the dispersion medium and sulfide ion is absorbed on the surface, negatively charged. Okay, more examples. more examples I will take, students. When they prepare ferric hydroxide salts, the electrolyte is FeCl3. This becomes positively charged. Positively charged. Why? Because you have excess of Fe3 plus ions here. And chloride ions, which will be adsorbed here. You can see that iron common, so preferential adsorption I'm talking about of Fe3 will take place on the particles of the FeOH3, the result of which will be, what result is there? You have FeOH3. This is my colloidal particle, but it is going to adsorb Fe3 plus ions. Fe3 plus ions. Fe3 plus ions. So then it becomes positively charged. Positively charged. You will experience that we have different type of charges. You know, you are aware of the milk. Milk is a colloidal solution. Milk is a colloidal solution, and you have fat globules, fat particles. You know, fat particles in the milk. There are fat particles in the milk, and you have water. How these fat particles are dispersed in the water? They are not coagulating. Are they coagulating? But only under certain conditions they coagulate, because you can get cream from the milk. Or when you do centrifugation, you know, or under certain conditions only. But these fat particles in the milk itself, they are forming a colloidal solution. They are forming a colloidal solution, because you know that in this is dispersed a protein which is called casein. There is a protein called casein which is dispersed, and this casein is a protein. This casein is a protein. It is a protein, and it forms measles. It forms measles, but it forms measles in the milk. And the protein molecules, if they dissociate, what type of charge they will have? You know what are protein amino acids? Amino acids. So they have negative charge. These measles have got negatively charged. So that is the reason this fat and water, they become colloidal particle, and the negative charge on the measles of casein stabilizes the colloidal solution. And there's a lactose sugar also in the milk, you know about that. So for the colloidal particle, we are saying there is always a charge on the colloidal particle, either positive or negative, depends on which particles they will absorb. So even our blood is a colloidal particle, and inside the blood you have Hb, and the charge of the there is a charge on the blood and Hb also. All these, because they have to absorb certain ions preferentially, or there may be some molecules which are on their surface, they are dissociating. And we told you about soaps and detergents already. They are forming measles, and this as sodium palmate, sodium stearate, all these big particles, they are negatively charged, and opposite charge goes into the solution. They have asked this question: the colloidal particles are charged, but still the solution is neutral. What is our answer? Because opposite charge exists in the dispersion medium, which balances the charge of the colloidal particle. So, okay, this is the first part which we wanted to tell you. Both these questions have been asked in the paper. Interesting thing is that if you add FeCl3 in NaOH solution, when this is in excess, what will happen? Then you will get FeOH3. But in this case, you have sodium ions and hydroxide ions. This is in excess. So it will absorb then which ion? OH minus. It will absorb OH minus ions. So preferential adsorption of the ion which is common to the colloidal particle takes place. Experimentally, we have observed this. That's why we have seen that. Then it will become negatively charged. Negatively. Here, Fe3 was the electrolyte. Fe3 was the electrolyte. Larger amount of, what was that? Fe3 plus. So positive charge. Here it will absorb negative charge. So the charge on the colloidal particles could be positive or negative. These are some of the reasons which we have given for the adsorption. There could be some other reasons also. When gold salts are prepared. When we prepared gold salts, you remember how I prepared? You remember Bragg arc method. So what happens is these gold particles were formed which were condensed under high electric arc. And then what happens is sometimes they do electron capture because some ions or charged particles are there. If there is an electron capture, what will happen? Then the salt will become negative. We have given you a table last time to show certain compounds are negatively charged, certain positively charged. Further, it is also possible due to friction. What can happen? I'm saying friction. I'm talking of frictional rubbing. These are less important, but still I want to tell you. Frictional rubbing of colloidal particles by the dispersion medium. What we said, that you have a dispersion medium. These molecules are colliding with the molecules of the colloid particles. So they are rubbing the surface of that, and there could be friction. Due to friction, what will happen? There will be rubbing, and some charge will be produced. And in physics, you rub a balloon on your skin, and it sticks to the wall. It gets charged. You rub your comb to the hair. What is you are doing? Comb to the hair, and small pieces of paper, it sticks because rubbing, frictional force, you are creating some charge on these particles. Charge is very important in science. Charges. So these are some of the reasons which we have discussed. I hope I have given so many examples because the questions, my purpose is one. My dear friends, you are with me for such a long period of time. I try to give you the understanding of the concepts, and what I am trying is crystal clear. Each and every word written in NCERT book, I want to decode it for you so that in exams or in any competition, it will be very easy for you. These things are written, but students don't read it and don't know what's happening. And more than 75% questions in all exams, CBSE others, are going to be there from NCERT. Inside the book, or exercise, or just variation. So you will be able to get 100 out of 100 marks. You have to be attentive in my class. And I have adopting methods which are easy for the students. Slowly, I teach slowly now that you understand the material. If you have doubt, you can ask me the question, no issue. Video recording of this will be given to you, as well as the PDF will also reach you. And I'm trying to improve the handwriting slowly because it's a new method of writing for me. and I'm writing in capital letters so that you can see what is happening. Here we have discussed large number of questions for you regarding the colloid. The charge is responsible for the stability. If there is no charge, then they will form precipitates or coagulate. Always interesting, same charge is existing. The milk, is stable. Milk is stable till there is a protein in the milk, which is responsible for forming measles within the fat particles and the water. As soon as this we disturb it, you know what happens. What happens? You can get by centrifugal machine, high rotation, the smaller particles, fat particles will combine and you will get cream, and from cream you can get butter. All this is what we learn slowly. See, the everyday life is very much related. We have to connect and understand it. Origin of charge, very important topic. All right, now students will ask me, sir, what is the evidence for the origin of charge? Now we are talking of students. I'm talking of experimental evidence. Question was given. Question was given. What? Give the experimental evidence that colloidal particles are charged particles. Colloidal particles are charged particles. Charged particles. You are such an intelligent guy. I feel so happy when I see children like you. And if you work seriously, the main thing is to work hard. Then you will be able to get 100 out of 100 marks. And it's not a difficult target. I'm telling you. All my students, I'm telling you, by God, yeah, you are such a high talent. And you are not working hard, therefore you will lose marks. But if you work, you will see all the questions I will solve here. And most of these questions are already there in the exam. Experimental evidence he asked in the question paper. You are saying it is charged. How will you prove experimentally? And you are saying in science, we are not going to accept anything till there is an experimental evidence. And you are aware that if there is a charge on any particle, you have gone through electrochemistry topics. And if I put two electrodes, one is positive plate, other is negative plate, apply a potential difference electric field, then what will happen? These charged particles must move towards a plate. Interesting. You are saying colloidal particles are either positive or negative. So I apply a electric field. I put two electrodes. If it is positive, then positive charge particle will move towards the negative plate. Negative plate. They will start accumulating towards the cathode. And if they are negative, they will move towards the anode. So that experiment we can do. That experiment we can do. So that is what we are talking about, electrophoresis. Electrophoresis. He asked a question, what is electrophoresis? What is electrophoresis? So question is, what is electrophoresis? Simple definition in the paper. Electro means you are applying some field, and phoresis means particles are going to move. Particles will show movement to either side of the electrode because they are charged particles. Charged particles. Now what he did? Due to the, listen to me carefully, due to the presence of a particular type of electric charge. Just now I told you the origin of charge, either positive or negative. Reasons we have given. Most important question for paper, preferential adsorption. Preferential adsorption. Silver nitrate, AgI I told you, or AgCl could be there, plus or minus, depending on the ion which it absorbs. And I say that it absorbs preferential to that ion which is common to that precipitate, common ion. So here is the colloidal particle present in colloidal dispersion move towards a particular electrode under the influence of electric field. That's what we are saying. That's what you are telling me, sir. I know about it. You are saying your colloidal is positive. Then which direction it will move? It will move towards cathode, which is the negative plate. Negative plate, right? If your colloid is negative, If the charge on the colloid is negative, which side it is going to move? It will move towards the positive plate. So this movement of the colloidal particles under the influence of an electric field is called electrophoresis. Electrophoresis. Here is a diagram. This is a diagram. What we have done? This question has been asked in the paper. Explain electrophoresis. If the question is 1 mark, I don't have diagram, need not be given. It's just for our understanding, that it gives us a better understanding. We don't forget. If we understand, we don't forget. If we cram, we will forget. And you are not cramming anything. You are understanding anything. Between you and me, everything I said, let us understand everything. See here, this is a U-shaped tube, glass tube. Stopcock. And inside this is a colloidal solution. Colloidal solution. This is my colloidal solution. This is my cathode plate. Here is a plate. You see, this is my negative. This is my negative. Negative plate and a positive plate. You have a negative and a positive plate. So, if positive, we are saying it will move towards a negative plate. I should, one thing I will make a correction here, because the charge, when we say, I'm just rubbing this so that there is no confusion. Is rubbing this. Okay, this is rubbing this. Okay, this I'm just want to cut it. So I'm putting negative and positive plates only. The reason is the charge, in a cell and in a galvanic cell and in electrode, the charges become different. So we have a negative or a positive plate, I'm saying, in this case. For example, what I'm saying, this is my electrolyte. This is my colloidal solution. What is this? Colloidal solution. I have a colloidal solution inside this tube. This is my colloidal solution. This is our plate. This is positive plate. This is our negative plate. Negative plate. Because we are applying potential different from outside. From outside, there will be plus and minus coming. Plus and minus. Now these are the electrodes. You can see 2 plates. So what is happening? This inside this, you have a colloidal solution. Supposing I have arsenic sulfide solution. AS2S3. This is I'm saying negatively charged salt. Negatively charged salt. Negatively charged salt. You apply an electric field. Apply an electric field. You can see that these particles which we have shown here, they are colloidal particles. They start moving towards, they will move towards which? Negative, positive plate. They will all move towards the positive plate. There is a movement. And they start collecting there. So they will collect. See, the particles have collected. And they will collect where? At the positive plate. So all the colloidal particles get collected at the positive plate when we pass an electric field if it is negatively charged. This shows that there is a charge on the colloidal particles. This phenomenon is known as electrophoresis. So the definition of electrophoresis we don't have to remember. You can write. 1 mark question will be there in exam. The movement of colloidal particles under the influence of electric field is called electrophoresis because colloidal particles are charged particles. For example, arsenic sulfide is negatively charged salt. If I take a solution of that inside this, they will move towards the positive plate and they will get accumulated at the positive. Okay. Further, now we are talking of another thing. What is that? Electroosmosis. What is electro? Simple questions in the exam on this, 1 mark. What is electroosmosis? we are saying when you apply electric field, the solid particles move. Solid particles move because they are charged. But supposing electric field is stopped in a way, checked in a way by a suitable membrane, semi-permeable, so that the colloidal particles don't move. What happens? We stop the flow of the, we stop the flow of colloidal particles. Colloidal particles. We will stop the flow of the colloidal particles by some method. By some method. For example, here he is saying under the influence of is checked with the help of a suitable membrane. He is using semi-permeable membrane. The result of this will be dispersion medium will start moving. Dispersion medium will start moving. Why? What we told you, there is a charge on the colloidal particle. Opposite charge is there on the dispersion medium. Dispersion medium. That is why the colloidal particles are, the colloidal particles are neutral overall. So because the dispersion medium charge is opposite, it will move in opposite direction. So what we are saying, the dispersion medium moves in a direction opposite to the direction of the colloidal particles. This phenomena is called electroosmosis. So what is the direction of the movement of dispersion medium? This question has been asked opposite to the direction of colloidal particles. It proves two things. These are experimental evidences. This proves that dispersion medium has a charge opposite to colloidal particles. So sometimes they say give experimental evidence to show that. What show? Colloidal particles are charged. Now I say give experimental evidence to show that dispersion medium has an opposite charge. Then I will do electroosmosis. It is opposite. Dispersion medium will move in this case and not the dispersed phase. So I hope this is very clear to us that we have experimental evidence to prove it. Okay. Now we are coming to another important part, which is called that what is happening, coagulation or flocculation. What do you mean by coagulation or flocculation? Coagulation, I am saying very important. What is the meaning of coagulation? You have colloidal particles, coagulate means precipitation. What you are doing? You want to precipitate. How they will precipitate? If you remove the charge on the sol, you are saying the sols are stable. Why? Because they have charge, and all the sols have the same charge in the case of what type of particle I am talking about. I am talking of lyophobic sols. I told you there are two types of sols, lyophobic and lyophilic. Lyophobic are those which are solvent hating. These are solvent hating. You know that they are not liking the solvent. They are not protected by the sheet of solvent. So their only reason of suitability is the charge. If we can remove the charge on these colloidal particles, they will coagulate, or this is called flocculation. So that is what we are saying. Coagulation of lyophilic sols can be carried out by which methods? The stability of sol is due to the charge present on the colloidal particles. Due to similar charges, colloidal particles repel one another and are unable to combine together to form larger particles. This is an answer to a question which has been given in board. Read it carefully. However, if the charge on colloidal particle is destroyed, they are free to come nearer and grow in size. That is what we call coagulation or flocculation. Flocculation. They asked a simple question in the paper. What is coagulation? So this is the definition. This is the definition. One method is by electrophoresis. See, how will you coagulate lyophobic salts? Lyophobic salts. I am saying one first method we are saying for this is electrophoresis. What we have just I have just told you what is electrophoresis. That you have a colloidal salt, you apply electric field, and under the influence of electric field, what will happen? These particles will move towards a plate opposite to their charge. So what will happen when they get collected at the opposite electrode? When they come to the opposite electrode, what will happen? Opposite plate, the charge will be destroyed. Their charge will be destroyed, neutralized. And if the charge is destroyed, what will happen? They will coagulate. They will coagulate. If arsenic sulfide salt is there, it is negative. You apply electric field, which we say electrophoresis. It will move toward positive plate, and all the particles move toward the positive plate, and they will be charge will be neutralized, and their charge will be destroyed. Therefore, they will just form. They will coagulate. They will coagulate or flocculate. Second possibility we are showing here, by mixing two oppositely charged salts. Oppositely charged salts. You are having a positively charged salt. What do you have? Positively charged salt. Okay? I am talking all the things for lyophobic salts. You add equal amount of negatively charged salt. Negatively charged salt. What will happen? They will coagulate. The charges will be neutralized. The charges will be neutralized. Neutralized. When the charges will be neutralized, what will happen? They will coagulate. Coagulate. Simple, no problem. You can easily understand. Plus and minus equal amount, what will they do? They will neutralize. This question has been given. Any question can be given. Don't think 1 mark question. By persistent dialysis, you already know about this. What happens? Persistent dialysis was asked 2 years back. What is persistent dialysis? Dekho, dialysis, what was the dialysis? You said colloidal particles have got excess of electrolyte or impurities. So you did dialysis by using semi-permeable membrane bag. We gave a diagram also there. So what happened? During that, the particles were getting out. Which particle? What we say crystalloids. Crystalloids, you have been told what happens. Crystalloids. What are crystalloids? The electrolytes which are present in excess. Electrolytes of the true solution like NaCl. They are crystalloids. They were moving out of the semi-permeable membrane, which is a parchment paper, cellophane paper, or animal bladder. If you do persistent, means repeated dialysis. Repeated dialysis means you do dialysis many times. Then what will happen? All the particles which are there, they will move out of the colloidal solution. So all particles will move Where? Out of the semi-permeable membrane. So what will be the result? The adsorbed ions will also be removed. The adsorbed ions will also be removed. Also removed. So the colloidal particle will become unstable. The stability is due to charge for the lyophobic salt. For lyophilic salt, solvent molecules also are responsible for stability. So what will happen? Adsorbed ions are removed, and therefore what will happen? Coagulation. Coagulation. I hope it is very clear. Just one more question, one line answer. Only we have to understand. Fourth, by addition of electrolytes. What do you mean by this? By addition of electrolytes, students, it is very clear. If colloidal solution is positively charged, I'm saying your colloid is positive. Electrolyte, what is electrolyte? Electrolyte have what? For example, if I say NaCl is an electrolyte, there is a negative and positive. So if you will add this, what will be the result of that? If it is positive, these negative ions are there now. They will neutralize. If it is negative, then positive ions are there. They will neutralize. So if you will add small amount of electrolytes to lyophobic salts, they will coagulate. They will coagulate or form precipitates or bigger particles. So here I have been able to explain you what is the origin of charge on the colloidal particles, preferential adsorption of charge, and also coagulation methods for lyophobic salts. So I hope you have enjoyed this session, and we will see you in our next class further on this topic, which is our very important rule of Kardashev rule. Again, important questions are asked on that. All right, students, good night. If you have any doubt, let me know. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll meet you in our next class.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye. I hope you are making all the notes, which are very important.